Good afternoon and welcome to live softball action, Premier League action, and it's a big day of softball, a doubleheader. So let's get straight into it. James Harris here, and joining me, Eric Bolnar, Lee Hull. We'll speak with Kathy Lambert a little later as well. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, James.
Good afternoon, James, and everybody out there in television land.
We've got a big clash today, West Torrens Eagles versus Sturt Falcons for Game 1 of the doubleheader. A little later on, Seacombe Tigers will be on show against Port Adelaide. Red hot at the moment, Port Adelaide sitting in second place. But this game is top of the table, Sturt Falcons versus 5th placed West Torrens Eagles. Guys, what are we expecting from the action today?
Well, the 5th place from the West Torrens Eagle is a little bit deceiving just because they got off to lightly put it, a horrible start to the season. They really struggled to get off to the normal West Torrens form that we see, dropping a bunch of games at the start of the season, but they've really surged back up the table. They're sitting now with 8 points. They're just in striking distance of the finals, but when you start off 0-5 and you end up winning 4 of your last 5, you're in pretty good shape. So it's a battle of the table toppers versus the ones surging up the standings.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to this game, guys, because we have some top-class players here. Excellent players. I'm certainly looking forward to the lead-off batters for both teams. See how they match out up against each other. Ada Caruana and Jordan Harris, and they both have speed. They can do everything. That's why they're lead-off batters. Looking forward to this game immensely.
I think it's a big barometer game here for the West Torrens Eagles as you see them on screen. You know, they've really started to surge up the standings. Like we said, they've won 4 of their last 5, but you can't really see how good you are until you play the best. And Sturt, with 8 wins out of the 10 games they've played, they don't allow a lot of runs. They're just pretty solid overall. It's a nice little barometer test for West Torrens Eagles.
This game is actually going to feature a half a dozen of the top competition's top 10, 15 players at the moment, with the likes of Caruana and Cameron and Tonkin in the lineup for the Sturt Falcons. Missing Belinda White, she's in national duties this weekend. But also on the West Torrens half of the page, you've got Harris and Trzynski. Both, or all players hitting around 400 or above. So we should still see plenty of action in the field. I don't think you can hold either of these two teams back. So it's going to be interesting to see how West Torrens can weather the storm with Taylor Mead on the mound. She's won a few games this year so far, but last time these two teams played, the only time these two teams have played so far this season, it was all Sturt winning 8-0.
It's a very tight competition this season. Every team has a case about why they could make their way up the ladder. But if you looked at a lot of feelings pre-season, these were the two teams that a lot of people thought might be in the grand final at the end of the year. So West Torrens starting to find form, Sturt in form. It will be an interesting matchup for sure.
Yeah, and with the advent of Steph Trzynski getting herself fit and well to play, that makes a big, big difference to the Eagles. Huge difference. Quality player, Steph. Want me to go around the team?
Yes,
the
please,
defensive
mate.
side of things, it's the Eagles. It's Taylor Mead pitching to Carly Allen. First base, Kelsey Nucky. Second base, Cara Schultz. Third, Lana Kaisler. Jordan Harris is at short. And the outfield left to right, Faith Pickard, Jackie Bill, Steph Trzynski, Sophie Hawes batting DP for the pitcher, Taylor Mead.
And today we will see Taylor Mead versus Caruana for the first pitch. Today we're joined in the first inning by a reluctant but very special guest. We have Chris Clough, Travelodge Aussie Spirit Team Manager, joining us. So welcome, Chris.
Thank you, James. Thank you very much for having me here.
That's okay. I'll get you to have that right up there by your mouth there so we can hear you nice and clearly. Just over on a bit of a holiday, but thought you'd come out and support the softball.
Absolutely. We watch this live on Saturdays, Wednesdays, fully loaded Thursdays. So why not, whilst we're here, watch it live?
We'll call some of the action while you're here, Chris, but you can see the replay screen in front of you as well, and you can see the lineups as well. So
okay.
some familiar names in these lineups for you?
Absolutely. A couple of faves in there.
Let us know who they are. That's okay.
Yeah, well, in batting now, Maddie Cameron's not actually batting now, but in
for the Sturt lineup.
Sturt lineup. Maddie Cameron's one of the faves that I met over in Mankato when I was doing the Aussie Spirit, or the Aussie Peppers.
Great lead off from Ada Caruana, a single up the middle, and Sturt Falcons are rolling with the first batter.
Yes, typical Ada, isn't it? You give her room, she just gets her arms free, straight up the middle. Now she becomes a real danger on base. Absolute electric on base.
Rachel Tonkin shows bunt, and Kelsey Nucky will play first base. Cara Schultz covering as the second base player. Sacrifice bunt. So the runner is moved around to second. So Caruana in scoring position for Sarah Tonkin. Action moves pretty quickly, Chris.
It does.
So
Your scorer, commentator.
We'll jump in when we can.
Yeah.
We'll
absolutely.
get the special comments from Lee Hull. And their thanks to MC Sportswear of all the replays on the Spacequake action. Thanks to leading teams, our broadcast partners. And we can't have the broadcast without them. So very special thanks to everyone who's supporting softball around the country, and in particular the Premier League broadcast. Taylor Mead for the Eagles. Just struggling to find the strike zone against Sarah Tonkin, one of her dangerous hitters in this Falcons lineup.
Certainly is, and this is their big part of the lineup, isn't it? Batters 3, 4, 5. Obviously Bell's not here today, so Millie Fitch comes in, fills Maddie Cameron's position at 5 in the batting lineup, and Maddie goes up to 4. They'll lose nothing by that.
Yep, Cameron is the batter coming to the box now with this 1 out, 2 runners on base, and probably not what West Torrens wanted to see, as Cameron is in the top handful of hitters in the competition with 11 so far this season, but impressively a 9-game hitting streak.
Eagles need to get an out right now.
You don't want to hang it there for Cameron. Here she is, Chris,
She
one of your
is.
faves.
Yes. I think she'll hit it straight past Geordie.
Well, the Eagles playing a shift, and Cameron hits it to that player, that extra player on the left-hand side. So pretty good coaching decision there from West Torrens to load up that left side. However, I think that if Lambert or Harris was in the regulation shortstop position, it would have gone straight to her. So a bit of Murphy's Law there. But you were right, Chris, hit it straight past her.
Absolutely.
The benefit of hindsight, James. It'd be handy, wouldn't it?
And although she pulled it to the left side of the diamond, she'll get an infield single
Yep.
to second base. Who fielded it? There you go. Fidge in the box now. Pulls this one. Geez, it was all hands, wasn't it? She just threw the hands at it. It wasn't really a swing. And it goes into foul territory. Chris.
She's taller than what she appears on TV too.
Millie?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty tall for 17 years of age. So maybe a little bit of growth left in her, maybe? Who knows?
Who knows?
Just around the edges. It's pretty close, but a ball is called. Loaded bases for the Falcons, Lee, early in the game.
Well, they've got to be tight here, don't they? Outfield need to be on their bikes right now.
This one goes straight to left fielder Faith Picard, who throws it in. Ada Caruana will score on a sacrifice fly. Sarah Tonkin moves to second base. She'll be replaced for a catcher speed up. Looked like Fidge was trying to go out there to get some time running bases, but no, she'll be pitching today, so they don't want the pitcher out there as a courtesy runner. Neve Adams, now the hitter for the Falcons. Another one of the young brigade coming through for the Falcons.
And isn't she promising, James, this girl? Fantastic. Fantastic future ahead of her.
High ball, it's a pop-up. Harris is backing back and will take the catch to end the inning. So only the 1 run given up from the Eagles. So pretty good defensively, I guess you could say. But, geez, the signs are pretty good for the Falcons early.
Certainly are, but I have a problem with going early pitches when the bases are loaded or two in scoring position. I think you just make the pitcher work more, make her work harder, and then come up with a shot. That's fine.
Well, we will get you to go around the diamond for us in a moment, Lee, but while we've got Chris Clow here just for another 3 or so outs, tell us what's coming up for the Aussie Spirit.
They, I think, have a big camp in February till the beginning of March. And I think the whole squad's going to be there. Other than that, I think there's a trip coming up to maybe NZ for the girls, and then over to Japan prior to the Olympics and in camp over there.
Massive year for the Travelodge Aussie Spirit. It would have been unsettling, I think, for some of these athletes who had been training and planning and preparing, to peak in the middle of 2020, only to have NPF plans cancelled, Olympic plans cancelled. Can you give us an insight what was happening within the inner sanctum? Were they well looked after, the players?
I think so. I think they've got Simone Wern leading all the ins and the outs of what happens with the team. They've got Lang,
head coach Lang Harrow.
Yep, doing a great job with his staff, and Dee's in there, helping the girls out. So I'm sure that they're all going to be they're preparing for gold. So I'm sure that that's what they're going over there for. So, but the disruption that they've had, that's been for every country attending the Olympic Games. So, in one way it's good. They've got an extra 12 months to train, but it would have been difficult for them.
Well, we'll be watching with interest. Harris to lead off for West Torrens. Going after the first pitch aggressively, trying to level up the score quickly with the likes of Kayser and Picard and Schultz to follow. So an early base runner for the Eagles will be what they're after, Lee. Yeah,
they've certainly got some hitting, haven't they, West Torrens Eagles? We talk about it every time we have them on the TV, James. They can hit all the way down. And a variety of hitters too. Yeah. Not the same type.
Change of pace from Fidge there, but doesn't get the strike zone. So good calling from Sarah Tonkin to mix things up early on when Lambert's looking to swing early. Harris. I
haven't got used to that yet.
Yeah, still
still
hard
a Lambert
to get used to, yeah. Low for another ball, and Harris gets herself into a pretty good hitting count after going hard at the first pitch.
That's what you love with your lead-off, don't you? Getting their money's worth. Hanging tough.
That looked pretty low from this angle, but we do sit pretty low as well, don't we? Yeah. So
I thought it was low.
Looked a similar pitch to the one before.
Full count now. So Fidge into a motion, and it's a base on balls for Harris. So a positive start for the Eagles. Falcons were able to score their lead-off, who got on from a single, the speedy Caruana. Lee, you're known for your tips and your predictions. You see what's going to happen here? A big bunt, similar to Sturt.
Well, not used to bunting Lana, but she's up batting 2 today, which puts her in that spot. I think you've got to just play the percentages.
What team were you with, Chris, at the SummerSlam?
Emeralds.
Emeralds, okay. So you would know Kayser because she joined the team last year. With Harris steals a base, slides in safely.
She's a great hitter.
To second, great hitter, Lana Kayser. So that's why I thought you were with the Emeralds. So Kayser was part of the Emeralds at the SummerSlam earlier this year. It seems so long ago, doesn't it?
It does. It seems like it was last year.
High and out of the zone.
Yeah, she was funny.
Disciplined batting here, isn't it, from the Eagles?
Yep, 2-1.
Don't just chase anything.
Fidge has been the pick of the pitches in the competition as well. The 17-year-old leading the league with wins, 5 wins, 2 losses. And we've got some pitching stats. We'll come to them a little later in the game, but she's been outstanding this year.
Another one with a big future. Love it.
Back-to-back base on balls for the Eagles will bring up Faith Picard, who's been such a consistent performer for the Eagles over the last 3 or so years. 7 hits on the season. Handy batter, top order batter. Always in consideration for Team of the Year as well, but plays a position that we've got some absolute superstars playing. As a catcher, gets the sacrifice bunt down to Maddie Ashby, who pounces on that pretty quickly. We haven't seen much of Ashby this year, Lee, but she's filling in for Belinda White, who's on national duties at Battery Camp.
Yeah, a young player, Maddie, but she's got skills. She normally plays in the outfield, but Sturt don't change their side around from week to week, so just bail out, Maddie in.
Picard did do the job, moved both runners into scoring positions for Schultz, who also goes first pitch. Just took her eye off it at the last minute. The head sort of lifted a bit and fouled it off. Now, Chrissy, you know Tani Steptoe. Cara Schultz has actually signed with the community college that Tani went to in Utah.
In Utah, yeah. Salt Lake City.
It was high above the letters, 1 and 1.
Should be in the same colours.
Yep, for the Bruins.
Mm-hmm.
Good change of pace from Fidge.
Excellent pitch, wasn't it? Excellent choice from Sarah Tonkin.
Yeah, good calling from Tonkin, the catcher. And Fidge can throw around the zone a bit here for a couple of pitches at least. Schultz still chases this one and it'll go up the middle. 1 run scores. Kaiser doesn't break stride, takes on the arm of Cameron. She holds up more than 3/4 of the way, dives in head first. The throw was high from Tonkin. Schultz advances to second on that play, that trap play. Kaiser looks like she could be in a little bit of trouble. Let's have a look at the leading team's replay. Great throw from Cameron. Forced Kaiser back.
Well, Maddie Cameron and Lana Kaiser are good mates, and when I saw Lana turning and coming down, taking on Maddie's arm, I thought, this is danger.
All right, let's have a look at this replay carefully, because Kaiser's down and she really dove in hard to the body of Jessie Keach. She's still laying on the ground. Let's hope it's not a back or a neck. They haven't moved her. In good hands, Carly Allen, a paramedic. Team manager Sue Nucky just getting one of the bench players to maybe get a towel or some ice. It is quite warm here. It's awkward weather, isn't it, Lee?
Nasty is the word I'm looking for, James. Nasty.
We might say goodbye to you, Chris, just while we get an opportunity while Lana's down. Thank you so much for joining us. You can go join Kieran back in the stands now. We could have got him in as well, but no, we only have the big names here as guests at Space Quake Sports. So thanks so much again, Chris, and looking forward to what lies ahead for the Travelodge Aussie Spirit.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me, James.
Well, how about that, guys? Chris Clough, Travelodge Aussie Spirit team manager, a veteran with that team as well. She's been around for quite a while. She came to Adelaide in 2012. The first time we ever had, 2012, 2013, first time we ever had the Travelodge Aussie Spirit in Adelaide, and she was a team manager there. So been a good friend of Softball SA for a good 7 or so years. Eric, what have you seen from this play?
Yeah, it looks like it's the left shoulder of Lana Kaisler that she kind of went down hard into, and maybe the wind knocked out of her, which you can see was a big thud when you go right down on your chest like that, and her shoulder, she's kind of coming up gingerly, but it's good to see her running around out there. It looked kind of scary when you have a player running there not moving too much. The way they were kind of signaling, and again, this is not official, it did look like maybe it was the wind knocked out of her. You would get that, and then the shoulder. So that's double whammy, and that's got to be painful. As you take a look at that right there, she goes down pretty hard.
Lead, West Torrens have the bench to replace her if needed?
Well, on the bench today they have 3 people. They are Mary Fuss, Amy Wheeler and Alicia Mead, Taylor's sister, so that'll be nice.
Well, Alicia played a bit of third base at Glenelg. We know Sophie Hoyle is playing DP, but she can only come in for the pitcher.
Yep.
Into the defensive lineup, so it wouldn't be to replace Kaysler.
No, 3 small girls on the bench. They obviously can run, and they probably want to utilise that.
How's that for a nice touch? Jessie Keach and Lana Kaysler just share a quick hug to make sure that there was no malice in the play and the care that they have for one another. There might be warriors out there going head to head, but they do have a care for one another.
And how's the toughness here of Lana Kaysler getting right back up, grimacing a little bit, but I'm sure it's uncomfortable. She's still holding that shoulder a bit, but just shows the toughness that she's got. And when you know she goes down, as this is grounded towards short, play at the plate again, another bang one. Early call on the safe, but it is a run.
You said the toughness of Kaysler. She's just put her body on the line straight away. The very next play, sliding into home safely.
And it gives the Eagles an early 2-1 lead over Millie Fidge, who is the statistical leader in the competition right now of pitchers.
Yeah, I've got her stats here in front of me. 30 innings pitched for the year and 5 wins, sharing the load with Zali Adams in a reverse of roles from last year. We saw Zali lead the pitching for the Falcons. This year it is Millie Fidge, and Zali's still got a 3-0 record of the year. But
it's a good combo. Sophie Hoyle is the batter right now for the West Torrens Eagles. It does make you wonder, though, if what you kind of wish you could see in this game is if Maddie Scott, a young gun pitcher who's now off at college in the United States, who was that 16, 17, 18-year-old pitcher taking the league by storm, kind of just like Fidge and Zolly Adams are doing right now. You would love to see a matchup between these two right now if you could have Maddie magically back here for this game.
Yeah.
He swings through this one.
I tell you what, that's an excellent point, Eric, but take your hat off to Steph Straczynski. She can bat this girl. First pitch, crack. And what a beautiful slide from Lana after being floored.
Well, Straczynski, everyone only knows her really as a pitcher, but she's in this lineup for a hitting at the moment, hitting .455 on the season with a .478 on-base percentage. She's been fantastic. 10 hits, 7 RBIs, and one of the reasons on the reversal of form for the West Torrens Eagles.
And you know you're doing something right if you're moved up in the lineup and you're bumping down somebody like Steph or Sophie Hoyle, who is up to bat right now. She swings for that one. That's the first strikeout from
Kelsey Nucky.
Millie Fidge. And yeah, it is a dangerous lineup. Look at the 6, 7, 8 in this lineup. You've got Sophie Hoyle, Kelsey Nucky, and Carly Allen. At times, and on a lot of teams, that might be the middle of the lineup on teams.
Yep, all big hitters.
2 outs, Kelsey Nucky up to bat. She's been the one that's on Team of the Year the last, how long at first base?
Yeah, last few years. And
4 or 5.
And she got a good hit on Wednesday night as well against the Seacombe Tigers. She put it deep to right field, and I think on any other night probably would have gone the journey, but it was pretty heavy winds on Wednesday.
Every season, Kelsey Nucky seems to, as she rolls this over towards third, a play across the diamond from Keach, and that will end the inning, but 2 runs on the board for Sturt. I was going to say about Kelsey Nucky, every year she just holds that consistent start, hits around that 280 to 310 kind of range, and then all of a sudden she gets hot and explodes every season, it feels like, and gets a barrel of hits. And it's not really a matter of if, but when Kelsey Nucky does that again this year.
And she's so unassuming. You look at her, you said 250, 280. She's hitting 300 on the season, Eric. 417 on base average. So that's why she gets recognised in these teams of the year, because she is consistently around that 300 mark. She's not the superstar of the team. She doesn't want to be. All right, she just wants to contribute consistently, and she's a sure glove at first base as well in elite company when you're talking Kelsey Nucky.
Absolutely.
Yes, and She is very underrated, I think, Kelsey. She comes under that heading. We all rate her. Everybody that plays against her rate her, and it's incredible. But she's down the list, as you said, Eric. You touched on it. They bat a long way down, and Jackie Bill's no slouch, batting 9 today.
It's a pretty powerful lineup, and they'll just keep grinding away at you. And it's very similar to Sturt. Both teams have pitchers that can get the job done. Taylor Mead learning and growing this year too. What a difference she looks pitching from even just 5-6 weeks ago near the start of the season.
She certainly does, and it's just a matter of she's got the field behind it. Excellent field. Just do your bit. Let the field take care of business. Here's a girl that's impressed me. She's come in as a DP a couple of times. Hits the ball long for a small girl. Lauren Jury leading off.
Sturt down 2-1 in this one at the start of the second inning. These games are 90 minutes long. No new innings after 85 minutes or 7 innings, whatever comes first. Generally speaking, if this is your first game joining us, we usually hit that timed mark. Run that 85-minute.
And we've had a slight delay as well today with that injury from Lana Kaiser, but and a fair few base runners in the first inning.
Yeah,
so we said that.
Action.
Yeah, we saw that. Said that at the start of the game that there'd be a lot of action from the two lineups that we got here today.
As advertised, Lauren Jury at 7, 8, 9, part of the lineup, starting things off for Sturt. Good job by Taylor.
Tell you what, she hits it. She'll hit it the outfield. Every time I've seen the bat so far this season, the ball's gone along to the outfield. Mostly flies, but they go.
And right down the line as Lana Kaisler reaches out for that one, but it slips on by her in an errant throw. Lauren Jury just holds fire over at first base. So Sturt, just like they did last inning, get the leadoff runner aboard. And now they'll go to work with Jordan Lee, the woman stepping into the box.
Not sure whether that was a sacrifice bunt, but it was very high to play a shot at. And got the obvious result, fouling it off.
So it's Lee Keach, followed by Caruana.
Good pitch from Mead. We look around the Eagles' defensive lineup. They're also missing a regular outfielder in Alicia Marchenk. So maybe not full strength today, West Torrens Eagles, but gee, they look formidable, don't they? Anytime they take the diamond. So I think for Sturt, they really need to take advantage of Taylor Mead, knowing that Steph Trzynski could be in and around the place.
As Jordan Lee swings at that one, it's the first strikeout of the day for Taylor Mead.
Yes, talking about the outfield for the Eagles, James, Jackie Bill goes from left to centre, and Faith Pickard, quality utility, goes from catcher to left field.
Versatile players on this Eagle team. It does feel like a day where, with this weather, where a mistake just could happen. It's mistake weather. It's hot, it's windy, lighting's changing a lot, it's muggy.
And it's the sort of weather you wouldn't want to be out in the field for any length of time.
No, and it just, that one little distraction or moment, that makes a big difference as Carly Allen holds fire on that one, keeping the runner at first and Lauren Jury.
Let's go back to the last at bat. Missed opportunity for the Falcons, you think? Didn't lay down the bunt?
Yeah, I think they're not ruining it at the moment, but end of the game it could.
Jesse Keach making the pitcher work.
Well, no lack of firepower from the Falcons, averaging about 5.5 runs a game.
That drops in. Good pitch from Taylor Mead. She doesn't overpower you with her stuff, but she can be a bit crafty at times.
Well, she just relies on the fielder we mentioned before, Eric, and that's what you can do when you have excellent fielders, especially in the infield.
Allows a walk. That's her second walk of the day, so now a runner in scoring position with one out. So after maybe that missed opportunity and Jordan Lee's at bat, they get the runner around to second anyways.
This is problems now for the Eagles with 2 on, and we're at the top of the lineup, only 1 down.
Ada Caruana led things off with a single in her first at-bat, then later scored on a RBI sac fly from Millie Fidge.
11 hits on the year for Caruana.
You talk about consistency.
Throwing a few stolen bases as well, so she could easily just put the ball on the deck, leg one out, advancing the runners at the same time, or she can line drive one, and that run from second will score.
And a few highlight reel plays defensively. Taking a patient approach against Meade.
That's what your lead-offs do, don't they? We saw Jordan do it for the Eagles. Ada's doing the same here for the Falcons.
Chops at that one foul. Gets a second strike on her.
What the off-speed pitching of Meade does for Caruana is forcing her to generate her own power as well. So it's not playing to her strength. Her strength is speed, getting the bat onto ball, making good connection.
Bat on the ball, but they turn. Oh, they can't turn that first base runner, so it ends up being bases loaded. Kara Schultz tried a quick fire play to Jordan Harris, and it looked like she just couldn't quite get a handle on it.
Yeah, leading teams replay, the backhand was quite low. Harris was coming at full speed to cover second base. Always hard to change direction. She had to recover quickly, otherwise that runner at third was looking to score. Falcons in a real good spot now, loaded bases.
They had loaded bases last inning, and they only managed to score the 1 run. So they're getting themselves in scoring spots, aren't they, Lee? As Tonkin drives this out towards left field. This should be enough to score the runner. A play at the plate, and she's safe.
Dropped the ball, Eric. Otherwise, she was cold. Great play from Faith Picarda. Leading teams replay. Let's have a look at this catch that she makes. And she gets into great position to continue her momentum and into the throw.
Yep, she would have been caught dead, but she just couldn't quite handle it, could she? It's a great throw. That's a tough play to make.
Sacrifice fly then for Rachel Tonkin. She's had 2 sacrifice.
It was long enough, wasn't it, to give her a chance to run, and she did. I'm just a bit concerned with the pitcher not going to a backup position facing where the ball's coming from. Just something I noticed.
That's how...
As you might remember, I do like pitchers going to a backup position, but face where the ball's coming from, because that's where the danger is.
That misfield comes costly now for the Eagles, because that catch would have been the 3rd out, and also a run wouldn't have scored, but now they've got still got 2 runners in scoring position, the Falcons, with the number 3-4 hitters up to bat.
Just moments after we said it could be a little mistake prone today, just with this kind of weather and climate. I don't know if that was the fault of that, but feels like the kind of day where a couple of mistakes might happen. Driven down the line, this one just foul.
Unusual place for Sarah to hit the ball. She's normally up the middle hitter, either side of the second base, and hits it with power.
Second time through the lineup for the Falcons in the second inning.
Down the line, stays fair. That's going to score 1 run. It could score 2. And Sarah Tonkin has given the Sturt Falcons the lead on a ball that just hugged the line, just stayed fair, and they've doubled them up.
Keach and Caruana across the plate. Ada's always going to score from second to any ball in the outfield. She's so speedy. Smart runner. Andrew Scott just going out to ask a question. See what he was asking about? Did the runner miss the base?
I don't know. I'm sure we could pull it up. Maybe.
I think that's what he's doing, just clearing the base for the umpire to see. Next time, perhaps.
3 runs in the second. They're not done yet.
Maddie Cameron, always a threat to go deep even. And she swings at the first one. This one
Tricky,
might be an
tricky,
awkward
tricky,
land. Will it
tricky.
fall? It does. That scores a run.
The switch again on Cameron. She tried to wait on it, put it opposite field. She got enough of it to drop into that gap. Perhaps a regulation second base might have had a chance there, but it was in no man's land. First base couldn't get it. Right field couldn't get it.
And now what would have been that second out on that dropped connection between Schultz and Harris, proven really costly, James, is it's now accounted for 4 unearned runs.
Yes, well, they didn't take advantage of it in the first dig, did they, as you mentioned, boys, but they are certainly making up for it in this one.
Sturt's too good of a team to give a second opportunity to.
As very good teams do. You just cannot keep them down for long enough.
Millie Fidge had that sac fly to start things off. That was the first run of the game in her first at-bat. Drives it down the line. A lot of balls going down that third base side today.
A bit partial to that side, aren't they? I was surprised with Sarah back-to-back hits down that line. Yes. Maybe it's just, like you said, Eric, the conditions. Wind's coming from where? Northeast, I'd say. Perhaps over there.
Fidge chops at that one again. Another little awkward one, but this one played well by Steph Trzynski, and that ends the inning. But 4 runs cross the plate, all of them unearned runs, and Sturt have really taken control of this one. They're up 5-2.
And 8 batters faced that time. That's a lot of batters in one innings. Reaped the rewards, though, didn't they, by having that with 4 runs.
West Torrens have used 4 pitchers this season. Taylor Mead, the bulk of the work, 35 innings, and then handful of innings each to Jackie Bill, Izzy Benedictson, and Steph Trzynski, who's just coming back from injury. So probably doesn't have a full game in her at this stage. But I'm not sure West Torrens can risk throwing Taylor too many more innings in this game, seeing as that Sturt already 1.5 times through the order.
Yep.
After 2 innings and 5 runs.
It's a good point, but they haven't really connected on one in terms of driving that ball to a gap. Even Sarah Tonkin's 2 RBI double was a ball that was millimeters from just going foul. You had a little chop shot from Maddie Cameron. That wasn't hard hit. It was just found the soft spot in the defense. There was a ground ball that could have been a double play that ended up being an error. So, yeah, Taylor Mead having to go through the lineup a 3rd time, going to be a challenge. But Sturt haven't exactly capitalized. It's just they've got a bit of luck going their way, and they're up 5-2.
And it's batters 8 and 9. Carly Allen, the catcher, and Jackie Bill, the centre fielder. Then we're at the top with Jordan Harris again.
7 batters came to plate for West Torrens in the last inning.
Yeah, 2 runs.
We're only in the second.
And Sturt went 8 batters for 4 runs. So you never can tell what's going to happen with the result of how many people get on. They'll need to get a run back here, won't they? 1 or 2 runs, I'd suggest.
Yeah, you don't feel like Sturt are done, do you?
No.
No, they got plenty left in the tank, and you know, if you've been able to keep any of their batters down, you know they're a threat. In their second and third turns at bat, and then you've also got the powerhouses of this team up the top of the order that, you know, you just cannot rest on any time, otherwise they'll make you pay.
Allen waits on it, gets to first, and just like they started the first inning, they've got a walk to start it off.
It's important, the leadoff walk. Every inning so far, the leadoff's got on and the leadoff scored, so that will help West Torrens if they can consolidate. Jackie Bills had a pretty good year, 333, 7 hits on the season, shows bunt. And she's really developed that left-handed side of the box. She can get a hit, slapping the ball through the field. Otherwise, she can lay that sack bunt, advancing the runner.
Well, you're well aware of my thoughts about bunting the first pitch. Because if I'm pitching, I'm throwing it up so you can't put it into play. Wait for the second one. There was the second one. The ball's already on its way down. How easy is it to bunt it then? Just my theory, boys.
Yeah, well, as a catcher, you know, you're always calling the ball out of the zone in a bunt situation. So you don't give the batter their pitch that they want.
Bunt down the line. Goes foul. Brings up second strike, I think. Yep.
Well, it's called sacrifice bunt for a reason. The word sacrifice. That means get yourself out, put your runner in a scoring position.
Well, they'd already shown that hand by calling sack bunt first pitch, so maybe running bunt's a bit of a tactic from Coach Scott. And
that's fine if the ball goes into play.
Swings through that. That's another strikeout from Millie Fidge as her second of the day.
Took the pace off it.
Important.
Well, it's better 7, 8, and 9, boys, isn't it? That you've got to get them, shut them down, because then you come with the big guns. You know, you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We said at the top of the inning when the same thing happened to Sturt, we said, have they missed a chance by not putting the bunt down and advancing the runner? Well, they put 4 on the inning, so.
Well, as we've said many times before, boys, the state of the game will dictate what you need to do. You know, the rest of the time, try and make something happen.
Harris takes that one. See what kind of approach she has.
Well, besides the first pitch that she faced, she's been able to see a lot of pitches since then. She swung and fouled off the first one, and since then she has got herself a walk, seen a fair few pitches, and now she's in a 2-0 count in her second at bat.
And seeing lots of pitches is a big advantage. That's why catchers predominantly are very good hitters. They see a lot of the ball during the course of the game.
Cracks at that one, and a great diving play. Throw over to second, they make the out.
That's a terrific out, isn't it, from a young player?
Great diving play to the backhand side from Neve Adams. Gee, that one could be seen in the highlight reel. Let's look at the leading team replay as Harris powers it to the left side. Couple of steps, diving play. No sign of Carly Allen. Didn't even try to break up the double.
Unbelievable diving play from Neve Adams, who is getting better with every game, it feels like, defensively. She had quite an active one last week where every ball seemed to go towards her. She was part of a lot of the action.
Yeah, particularly early in the game.
And we talked about her fielding percentage starting to get a little bit better, is it?
Takes a while when you're young, Eric. This is patient batting again from Kaesler, isn't it?
Well, a base hit to the right spot can score Harris. She can fly. This one chopped up foul again. Lana Kaesler earlier in the game while on base. Scampering back to third, came down hard and awkward. Diving back to the bag. Looked like her shoulder, but she's back and remains in the game, and now she's having her first at-bat since then.
Change of pace.
Chopped into that soft spot. That happened earlier to Sturt as this one thrown into the diamond. Puts runners on the corner with 2 outs.
You take your chances, don't you? That one, change of pace. She just threw her hands at it. Barely a swing, and it did land in that little gap there between first base and right field.
Well, catcher Sarah Tompkins called timeout, and she's going to have a word with the troops, most of them young. This is what Sturt wants to get out of here, don't they, with no score by the Eagles, and will be a double whammy for their 4 runs they scored.
Timeout's probably for the 1-3 split as well, with Maddie Ashby being new to the infield for this team, and 2 quality base runners, quality players,
and
smart runners. Yeah, bit of speed on the diamond as well.
Middle of the lineup for West Torrens on a hot and muggy day at West Beach. 2 outs. This is where Sturt did their damage with base runners and 2 out. West Torrens needs to replicate, don't they?
They do, but Ada, who's very quick on the legs at right field, look rather deep to me for this batter. Time will tell.
Well, that was a bit of a uncharacteristic swing from Picard. It was maybe even predetermined because it was way out of the zone.
Yeah.
She just went after it.
And Millie Fidge gets her look in and gets out of the jam. 2 strikeouts in the inning. No runs on the board for West Torrens. We're through 2, and it is 5-2 Sturt.
Just what Sturt wanted, wasn't it? You know, just 2 runners on. Got to swing, got to swing.
Defensively, the Falcons are going to make you pay because they're so solid in defense. Good team fielding average of 920, and you know, majority of the mistakes that have been made in the defensive lineup has just been hasn't been costly because they've been able to back it up the very next play, really stick to their guns, make the routine outs, and then get out of the defensive innings without too much damage. So they'd be able to use that as a learning curve for some of the young fielders that they've got in the team, in particular Neve Adams, who's just been growing every week at shortstop.
Yes, when you've got a player like Belle White on the side who's an outstanding fielder in any position, but when she was been playing shortstop, let her go to first and Neve comes and takes over. That's terrific.
Neve Adams will be the first batter. She made that fantastic diving play, which probably ended up preventing a run on the board for West Torrens. Flew out to the shortstop in her last at-bat.
And she can hit a ball, this girl. Hits it hard.
Popped up to shortstop her first turn at bat. Should be keen to make amends because she was the 3rd out of the inning with some runners on base. So good count for her to be in.
It was back in the first inning when Sturt scored 1 run. Good job changing it up from Taylor Mead.
Yeah, good thinking from Taylor, wasn't it? She knows she's not going to blow them away with pace, but she's just got to mix them up. Don't give them 2 pitches the same, identical, back to back.
(3-1) count.
Drives at this one, lifting, swirling in the wind, and nice job from Steph Trzynski to track that one. That could have been trouble, but really nice piece of defending there.
No fuss as a fielder, is she? Just does the job, Steph.
Made a couple of great catches already in this game. Will we see her feature in another position later on?
Depending on the score, I suggest.
Wind picking up around the facility too. And it's a hot wind. It's not cold. It is those warm gusts blowing right on you. Slows everything down as she swings through that. Would you rather play as a player in the heat or the cold?
Heat.
Why is that?
I think the body sort of shuts down a little bit in the cold. You tighten up, strike out, swinging. Good pitching from Taylor Mead. When she's able to hit that outside edge, she's always tough to hit because the batters will be looking to pull her to try and use as much of their swing and power as possible. So getting on that outside edge is going to be in her favour.
This innings particularly, she's mixed it up a bit. Thinking person's game, isn't it, softball? Pitcher and catcher versus you as the hitter. Just got to outthink. Know what pitch is coming.
Lee chops at that. Ball's still hugging that third base line.
You asked a question, Eric. Heat or cold? I know you're from Canada, so you're used to sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah, I mean, the heat's hard if you're not used to it, I think, too. I think today, more than anything, it's the wind that is the factor. It's not a pleasant wind.
Yeah, the paperwork's going everywhere. It's a hot breeze.
A lot of people at the beach when I came through that way, they'll be going home rather burnt, I suggest.
Patient at bat from Jordan Lee.
Fouled off a couple already, and so she's getting the eye in, but it's all been to the left side. So again, working out in Taylor Mead's favour here. So if she can push it to the outside edge, she'll have her team in good stead. Jordan Lee watches that one to go full.
Just battling away. Long battles today.
Easier said than done, but when you got to generate your own pace, you try and look to hit the ball up the middle rather than trying to pull the ball to the left side, because you'll just end up fouling them all the time.
Ground it over towards Harris, scoops, fires, and sure enough, Kelsey Nucky's there. It's a 1-2-3 inning. That's the first 1-2-3 inning we've had from any team. Both teams very capable defensively, making sure they're getting the job done. We've played 2.5 innings. It's a 5-2 lead. It's been about 47 minutes of play. It's a slow-moving game, isn't it? Although there's been a lot of little things that have happened.
Yeah, more so earlier on in the game, heaps of action and lots of runs. They're sort of dwindled a little bit the last 2 half innings. So West Torrens, to get back in the game, they really needed to hold, which they did. Now they've got to put on runs on the board.
Yeah, a couple of runs here would be really handy for the Eagles. I've noticed with the strikeouts, Taylor Mead's had 2, Millie's had 3, so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, Millie's thrown about 30-odd innings this year for about 30-odd strikeouts, so she's going at a strikeout an inning. Taylor Mead, on the flip side of that, has thrown a little bit more, 35 innings for just 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably as good an innings as Taylor's pitched that I've seen this season, the games I've seen.
She had a game versus Port Adelaide a few weeks ago where she was excellent. She didn't strike out anybody, but I don't think she allowed a run.
West Torrens versus Port, a 12-0 game.
Yep, it was a 4. I think she just played the 4 innings.
But then, on last Saturday, as we see Schultz foul that one off. Port Adelaide in a couple of weeks, because we had the circuit breaker, we had the shutdown of community sport for a couple of weeks. They returned the favour 17-7 last Saturday night.
Port Adelaide have kind of woken up, it looks like, from a little bit of a slumber they had going through a patch where I think they were winless in 5 games, but they've come back and they've won their last 2.
Yeah, I think they were 3 wins, 2 draws, and then they had a few losses in a row.
3 of them in a row.
To Walkerville, West Torrens, and Sturt.
They just couldn't quite find their groove, but down goes Kara Schultz. It's another strikeout for Millie Fidge. That's her 4th one of the day. Steph Trzynski, the new batter. Both teams really have turned on the defense. Before it was offense, hitting, going right at each other. As this one's down on the hot corner again. This one squeezes by Jessie Keach into the outfield. Trzynski thinking too she can get in there standing up on a hard hit ball. That was always going to be tough for Jessie Keach to handle.
Yeah, great shot from Trzynski. She drills it into the left side, and she didn't hold up, did she? Took advantage of maybe a slight little bobble out at left field.
And as I've said many times before, she hits the ball as hard as anybody.
So another day, another game with a couple hits, a multi-hit game for Steph Trzynski. A single and a double today. Hoyle lifts it towards right field. Good job blocking that from Caruana. Trzynski moves into third. So Sophie Hoyle advances the runner, and now with one out, here come the Eagles again. They're threatening. Kelsey Nucky up to bat with 2 runners on base.
And this is on the back of Taylor Mead's good pitching.
Big moment for Hoyle then. She missed Wednesday night's game, so it's a 3-game hitting streak for her. But she's come up right at the right moment for her team today.
Tell you what, there's been some balls out the right field today already.
Caruana almost made a play on that. That one slips away. Moving in to score is Steph Trzynski. Runner going to hold up at second. One little mistake, and the Eagles take advantage, and it's a 5-3 game.
Costly becomes costly, doesn't it?
Great desperation from Trzynski as well. The ball didn't really get away from Tonkin too far. And it's those tricky ones, you know, do you go, do you not? But she didn't hesitate, slid in safely.
She had to work around the bases in this inning, didn't she? She had that heads-up play to stretch that single into a double. As this one grounded up the middle, takes a funny hop. Just a bizarre bounce off the ground, and Kelsey Nucky gets the first. Sophie Hoyle moves to third.
Leading team's replay, second bounce. It bounced over the head of shortstop Neve Adams. You can't penalise the fielder for that. She would have been preparing with the glove on the deck, you know, but that second bounce.
There's a look at the slide from Steph Trzynski, who, like I was saying before, great base running. She stretched it into a double, and then on that ball that could have been caught, maybe wasn't caught, she had to decide how close she stayed back to second base to be able to retreat if the ball was in fact caught by Caruana, to scamper over to third, and then heads up base running gets her in to score. Just smart playing as Carly Allen chops this right up over the bleachers behind us.
Allen had to walk her first turn at bat, but the Eagles are rolling in this inning with 3 consecutive hits.
Carly Allen down 5-3. Good block from Sarah Tonkin.
Run-saving block.
Well, they've got to score at least 2 runs here with this setup. Only 1 out.
Carly Allen, good play by Jessie Keach. Throw across the diamond. She holds the runner at third. That young left side of the infield. Neve Adams had a run-saving diving play earlier, and Jessie Keach just does the same thing.
Yeah, great play from Keach. Move to her glove side. Interesting, with 2 out, we can see that the Sturt defense right up on the bat of Jackie Beale.
Well, if I'm the left fielder, Jordan Lee, I'm playing by the line and in near the dirt. The wind won't take the ball any further than that dirt, end of the dirt here. She gets hold of this. But a little tail away.
Takes a running swing at this and misses.
With the field in this tight, if Jackie Beale can get a little bit of pace on any hit here, they can only field a ball that comes straight at them. They won't have time to react for anything, any side of them.
That's where it's heading, that left side. She needs to throw now, Milius, something inside where it cramps her up and she can't free her arms.
Desperation and encouragement coming from the West Torrens dugout. You can hear it in the effects mic.
Chopped right towards first, bobbled it right at the bag, and she can't quite make the play. So the run will score.
That's the advantage of the left-handed batter's box as well. She already had that, well, she broke the resting inertia by moving and swinging the bat as she's on the run. Let's have a look at the leading team's replay. Just the bobble there, a tough bounce, and then she sort of tried to dive for the base and the ball at the same time. And Jackie Beale is safely aboard.
So they cut the Sturt lead in half. It's now 5-4.
Yeah, and they've got the 2 runs we talked about, and now whatever Jordan does is going to be a bonus here.
Runners at the corners. She's got a job to do here, and that is to get the ball into play, score 1 run, advancing the other.
Ooh,
Great
that
change of
hit
pace.
me on it, didn't it?
2 outs, though, so good.
Good calling, actually, from Tonkin. Like, she swung at the first one, so change up for the second one. It's a good call.
Lambert swinging a bit more freely in this turn at bat.
Well, it's bonus time for her and the team, isn't it? As I said. Work's been done, got the 2 runs back, and now she lands one somewhere. There'll be another run.
She is 0 for 1 with a walk.
Another change up. Seen a lot of pitches. It's a third turn at bat. It's a third time round in the order. She's seen some pitches. She's swung the bat a couple of times now. Just needs her pitch.
Chops at that. It could be awkward in foul territory, in and out of the glove. And you know what? You can't give Jordan Harris, a second opportunity. If you have an opportunity to get her out, you got to take that.
Well, it was a very good pitch from Millie. She went high and got Jordan into it, committed. Need did everything she could then, but it was a difficult running catch into that foul territory and into the wind.
Leading team's replay showed that she almost snatched at it,
yeah,
rather than let the ball come into the glove. So maybe the sun came right into play right at the end there. We do see a lot of trouble with pop-ups to generally the right side of the diamond at this time of the day. But look, Sturt is still in a good place here because Harris is in an 0-2 count.
This slips away. It could be costly. It is. It's a tie game.
And Bill took 2 bases on that pass ball because the play was always going to be at the plate. So great heads-up running.
And this game is tied. Both teams capitalizing off a couple defensive miscues. It was the 4 unearned runs from Sturt back in the second, and now a few unearned runs on pass balls. As this lifted out towards left field, and Jordan Lee handles that one, but the West Torrens Eagles just grind away and have found themselves back tied after 3 innings, 5-5.
Tied ball game after 3 innings. Is the difference going to be a coaching decision? Is it going to be, whoever breaks first in the field? We thought it was West Torrens. They gave up 4 unearned runs in the second. Maybe that's going to be the difference.
Yeah.
A day for mistakes. Lee, when do you think about looking towards the bullpen? Both defenses have allowed 5 runs in the same amount of innings.
Yeah, well,
both have capable backups.
Yeah, they have. And we've spoken about Steph enough, and we've spoken about Zali enough, so they could come in quite easy and take the game by the scruff of the neck. But with Taylor getting those 3 up, 3 down in the previous innings, I think you need to go with her again in this one to see how things go.
Well, now would have been the time to pull Trzynski to warm her up if she was going to come in, if she hadn't been warming up. So
I haven't seen her warming up.
No, I've got a feeling she's not coming in to pitch this game at all.
No,
so they've got to ride Taylor the whole way.
Well, knock on wood, Mead has pitched an excellent game so far. It's the 4 unearned runs on there, but mentioned a bit earlier, there's been no big flashy hit that's been a hard hit ball off of her yet. It's been ground balls and little bloops.
Yeah, the wind's had a big bearing, hasn't it?
Jessie Keach walked in her first at-bat. She made a fantastic play at third in the last defensive inning. Swings at this one, and how did that just squeaked over? Harris made an attempt at that one. She got up in a hurry, but that just squeezed over, and that's a base hit.
Leading team's replay, it was high hands and she swung through the ball. I even think Keach may have hesitated when she started to take off for first base. Caruana lays down a bunt. It's going to be a tough play. Safe is the call. She beats it out, a sacrifice bunt attempt, but she beat it out.
Well, the sacrifice bunt was always going to happen with Ada Caruana up to bat because of that reason right there. She can turn that bunt into a single more days than not.
Well, it'll go down as a hit, not a sacrifice.
Yep.
West Torrens corners right on the bat of Tonkin as she showed bunt.
This is the part of the lineup they want. There is no outs. Runners on. Tonkin, Cameron. The next 3 batters. Good take from Carly Allen.
Tonkin had a purple patch as the season had warmed up a little bit, and it was right into the lead up of the circuit breaker that we had, where she had 6 hits in 3 games. She's got 7 on the season, but I think short game's her specialty as she gets this one down, but tries to push it to right side, and it goes foul.
Yeah, she had 3 hits in one of the games.
Still hitting above 250, so handy batter to have. That one's a called strike, and Mead's ahead of their count.
I'd still bunt here, none out. That's not what they're expecting.
Even with 2 strikes?
Yep. There's none out. You want them throwing the ball around in the infield with this wind. The way to do that is to put the ball on the deck.
Tonkin swings at this one. Outfield coming in. Jackie Beal charges on to make a nice catch. It's not deep enough to advance the runners. That's about as good as a result as you could have asked for.
Leading team's replay, the ball goes up in the air. It could have been trouble as all 3 fielders were going for it, but I heard her call for it. Called all the infielders out.
Yep.
And the runners had to go back and tag up.
It appeared to be a late call, but it was one audible that we heard. So well done, Jackie.
Sarah Tonkin has 2 RBIs on the day. She had that 2-out double. Now with 1 out, has 2 runners in scoring position after that one slips away.
Just pops up for the Falcons, game in, game out, 9 hits on the season.
I'll look for the ball up the middle here.
Already has a hit this game as well.
Yeah, but this side, different speed on the pitcher today, so I guess that has a bearing on it. Big bearing.
She won't strike out either. No strikeouts on the season from Sarah Tonkin.
Don't you love that from the 3 batter?
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive stat when you look at the rest of their lineup, and they rarely strike out, the Falcons. 16 strikeouts on the season in 10 games.
From the team combined?
For the combined team, yep.
They're just hard to get out.
Well, their quality, that's got a big bearing on it, I think.
So 1.6 strikeouts per game, 1 or 2, depending on the day.
And what, they had 2 today, so it's been great pitching from Taylor Mead.
Above their average. Tonkin chopping everything off to the left side right now, Lee.
Well, it's the pace of the pitch, or the lack of pace, causes this, doesn't it? Especially with the hard hitters like Sarah, up the middle hitter normally. That's right, change up.
We can see the Walkerville Cats warming up in the background as Carly Allen calls timeout. Just have a chat to Taylor Mead. Probably don't throw it down the middle because 2 runners in scoring position. This is a crucial moment in the game. Lee, is that Tony Lomond warming up? Your eyesight might be failing here, but I can also see Kristen Barry. So
is that a question?
Maybe.
That's
the B grade.
That's the B grade.
Might be the B grade. Yeah, it's Seacombe versus. Who's the next game?
So you're telling me
Seacombe versus Port Adelaide.
It's my eyesight is fading, is it? Okay.
Tonkin lifts this to left field. Playable from Pickard. They're going to put on the tag, hustling in there to score and retake the lead as Jesse Keach and the Sturt Falcons have nosed their way back in front.
Professional out from Tonkin. She got enough of that. Deep enough. Picard's had plenty of action in the game and takes a good catch and a good play. Passing up Maddie Cameron is a good call. Like I mentioned earlier, she's 9-game streak coming into this one. She got a hit her last turn of bat, so make it a 10-game hitting streak for Cameron. Whereas Millie's popped up twice, so good move.
Grounded right towards the pitcher. Throw across the diamond. Side retired. Sturt put up another run on the board, but the game, it's come on a little, the big hit, I guess, was that 2 RBI double from Sarah Tonkin back in the second inning, but lots of RBIs. There's now been 3 sack fly RBIs from Sturt. They really are playing small ball.
Yeah, and Taylor toughed it out then, didn't she? Because it looked like the wheels were going to come off. They didn't. They scored 1 run, took the lead back, as you said, Eric, and they can work on that, the Eagles.
Yeah, that is an interesting stat. You don't see too many sacrifice flies in a game, and they've got 3 in 4 innings. West Torrens are at the number 2 hitter in their lineup, so and they run deep. They run all the way through with Jackie Beale batting 9, hitting 333 on the season. So if Fidge isn't careful here, she grooves a couple, could be costly for the Falcons, but their defense have held up so far. Indigo Bector Silver has come into left field. So a change has been made. Jordan Lee's come out of the game.
Indy Bector Silver goes in.
We had 5-5 before, and we scored 1.
So it is 6-5, about half an hour to play. 20 minutes to play even in the game here, first game of the doubleheader.
Well, at the top of the order, you'd think that it's West Torrens now, maybe never. Now or never.
Sounds the cue for a song to me.
Thing about Fidge is that she can change her pace up really effectively because she can throw that hard and heavy ball. And then she can come in with a good change of pace. She's got a few weapons, the 17-year-old.
Certainly has, and she can play positions and she can bat.
Slips away, though, on this one.
Lana's batting today has been very disciplined from my point of view. Taken as many pitches as she can.
Good pitch. Making Lana work for it.
It is up there. Lana, strong hitter. If she gets another one like that, it'll go.
Chops at this foul. And Millie Fidge back in the at-bat, bringing the count full.
Not going to get caught twice on the same pitch, Lana.
And you can see around the ground gusts of wind picking up. This down low. And a base runner aboard.
It's her second walk of the game. You mentioned the discipline, Lee, and she's also got a single. She's now a lead-off base runner for the Eagles. 3, 4, 5 to come up. Are West Torrens batting for 1 or 2 runs here? Do they want the lead now at the end of an even inning?
Well, I think they'll take what they can get, and I think I'd be satisfied with 1 in this innings. They get 2, that'll be a bonus. Leader gets on, you should pretty well score a run. Another sacrifice bunt going foul.
She's shown bunt a few times in the game so far, Picard, as the 3 hitter. 1 effectively, sacrifice bunt.
Interesting
in
as
the
the
first
3 hitter.
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, good point.
And that sacrifice bunt in the first inning with 2 runners on base as well. So that moved Harris and Kayser both into scoring position.
And they later scored.
Just seems to be having trouble with which pitch to go for. Get that on ball, girl.
Just outside, looking for it.
She's had a couple of the change-ups called, so that freezes the batter. Then it floats into the zone.
Long at-bats today from both teams.
Yeah, and Millie unusually is keeping the ball up to her. Usually keeps the ball down where the big hitters can't get and put a motor on it.
Good crack at this one. Tonkins lost it, but Caruana surefire under that one.
Yeah, an expert out at right field. Ada Caruana, first out of the inning. Cara Schultz now has to dig deeper for the Eagles. She's had a single already in the game, but her last at bat was a strikeout.
Yeah, 5 shots in the game to right field today. Tells you something about the wind.
Schultz has swung first pitch every at bat this game, and that one was a little high.
Yeah, she had a big hack at that one.
Hitting 4 in the order. Maybe she's just putting it upon herself that she needs to be that big hitter.
That's another big swing, but this one catches nothing but air.
Well, she's a player that will never go down wondering. Cara, she has a dip at it. It's a real dip.
Well, behind in the count means that she's got to chase pitches like that, a change of pace that started a little high.
And that's why you throw off pace to her, because you'll have her hands out there too early.
Millie Fidge comes through with strikeout number 5 of the day. Preserves this 1-run lead, keeps just 1 base runner on.
Here's danger for them though, the Falcons.
2 hits already today with an RBI for Steph Drzezinski. Or a fielder's choice she reached on before, but it was an RBI. And is this gonna find a gap? It won't. It'll drift into foul territory, but moving over to make the catch. That ends the inning, so they got the lead runner aboard, but they couldn't move her even 1 base. And West Torrens are down 6-5 heading into the 5th, and what probably, gentlemen, will be the final inning.
Leading team's replay on that play. It looked like it was Jesse Keach's ball. Had Indigo Beck de Silva charging it from left field, but it was very comfortably taken in the end from Neve Adams. Great play.
Yeah, it was hard for Jessie going back, wasn't it? She was at the back pedal, so it was the right call, Neve going. Well, they'd be disappointed with that, Eagles. Leader gets on. You're in your big lot of batting, your strength, and you don't score.
Well, after 4 innings, both teams have had the same amount of batters in the match.
Yeah.
They'll both start the 5th inning at batter 6 in the order.
And how many times do?
Yeah, we know that the 3rd batter of this inning will be new player to the game, Indigo Beck de Silva as well. So it's shaping up to be a tight one.
It is,
It
and
is.
probably the last inning. Sturt looking to extend, have a long innings batting, add a few runs, and come in and shut it down. That's the game plan for the 10-2 Sturt Falcons.
Well, they've come from behind a few times this year, Sturt, when they've been threatened.
8-2 in 10 games. 8-2
8-2
in 10 games, and I would say at least half those wins have come from behind as well.
Yep.
Last game against Hills Heat, they came from behind, but Hills Heat out-hit them. And for the 2nd time this season, Hills Heat had more hits than Sturt, and Sturt found a way.
Yep.
Sign of a great team.
And I saw that game. It was last Wednesday evening, and I think Zali pitched the entire game, only had one strikeout. So there's an answer. You don't need a multiple lots of strikeouts to win a game. They just toughed it out.
Neve Adams has popped up both her turns at bat, but patiently got the 3-0 count. That one does float in.
She's used that pitch a lot today. That's the one that gets her back into counts.
She's got to throw 3 in a row on that outside edge.
Got to be tough here this innings, Eagles.
Fidge bobbled over at third, and Millie Fidge is aboard.
Neve Adams.
Or Neve Adams is aboard, sorry.
Well, tough to get. Leading teams replay will show Lana Kaiser putting the body on the line once again in this game. On the second bounce, it looks like it hit her right leg. Neve Adams aboard.
And Lauren Jury's hit. That one just slipped well away. And now things are looking really dangerous for West Torrens. They need to find a way to hold, and it's the bottom of the lineup that's got on base with a
change of pitcher. We can see team manager coming out with the face masks. Jackie Beale comes in from centre field, which we'll see Amy Wheeler by the looks of things, and Taylor Mead will come out of the game.
She did her right.
Will she stay as the flex? No, she'll be replaced as the flex. So Sophie Hoyle will probably remain in the game as
a DP
for Amy Wheeler. And then it's an 8-1, 1-8.
Yep.
Well, it's just someone different, isn't it? It's not the same pitcher, but it's I don't know that Jackie's got any tricks in the bag. I don't know if she's got a change-up. I don't know if she's got a rise ball.
Just a different pitcher, as you said. I think that's it. And she's the one I thought may have come in the game when they played Port Adelaide, when 10 runs were scored in the first innings.
So
just to break it up, just to break the
new pitcher and a new hitter in the box. So this one might be a long turn at bat, unless Indigo gets a job to move the runners around, put them both into scoring position, and she can bat in the left-handed batter's box, Indigo Bector Silva, but we'll wait and see if she takes the right side and swings away. Well, with this timeout and pitching change, you could almost guarantee this will be the last inning.
It'll be last chance to dance for West Torrens after this.
Bector Silva is going to the left-handed batter's box. So the Eagles' defense will need to be on their toes. The left side will need to work out who's going to get the base and who's going to get the bunt.
Have to bunt here, surely, Jones.
You might even see the outfielders come in a little bit. They might be too deep, Lee. Normally it's you saying that.
Far too deep.
Intriguing battle. Indigo.
She hasn't played much.
Silva.
Yeah, she hasn't played much this year for two plate appearances. And she has a walk, so she is a patient hitter. A walk and a sacrifice for her 2 plate appearances. So it could be one or the other again today.
Yep.
It's Jackie Beale, though, that needs to find a strike.
Good job to get back in it.
Pick-off attempt from Carly Allen. It's not a bad idea because the Eagles need to generate some outs, but the risk is that it's only a 1-run ball game. Well, I would be getting the message through to the batter to watch this next one. 3-1 count.
I think she'll still try and put the ball on the deck. Like that. Too fancy.
Just trying to, I mean, small ball's been the name of the game in this one. Normally you see a couple home runs in a game like Sturt.
Yeah.
So no need to differ from the strategy that's got them in the lead this game.
But the state of the game dictates put the ball down.
She needs to watch the runner here as she, with the momentum, took her to the fence. She took a bucket catch for that one for the first out.
And
Just
the
what they
runners
needed.
remain where they were.
Seacombe and Port Adelaide, second game of today's double header, so it'll be a half-hour turnaround between games.
Jesse Keach trying to add to the lead for the Falcons. Lays down the bunt, still advancing the runners. Safe throw across from Jackie Beal.
Great play. She didn't rush it. She took her time and she executed the play real well, fielding off her own pitching. Jackie Beal for the second out. 2 runners in scoring position and the top of the order.
Ada Caruana, she's got a couple hits in this game. Last time she just laid down a bunt and hustled to first base. Threatening player.
Yeah, that was her second hit of the game. She led off the game with a single up the middle. She scored in the second inning. She had a fielder's choice to the right side, and scored again. She was one of the 4 that scored in the second. And that infield single, her last turn at bat, advancing 2 runners as well.
Complete team effort here by Sturt. Not one player dominating, but a lot of solid players that if they make one little mistake, they have someone to back them up for it. As this one's driven out towards the outfield, and well, they got the first 2 runners aboard, but they can't bring anyone around. That's a bit of life here as Jackie Beal
Goes 1, 2,
goes
3.
1, 2, 3 coming in.
Yeah, just what the West Torrens Eagles needed to get a chance in this game, because chasing 1 is going to be tough enough, but chasing 2 to tie it will be difficult. So they will need to generate a base runner, move the runner, score the runner, and just to tie it up.
The state of the game, as I said, James and Eric, will dictate what you need to do. Get 1 on, bunt them around. You chase them 1. That's the goal, chasing 1.
Falcons have come from behind in a handful or a couple of games this year at least that we know of. Now can they hold it? Now can their defense hold tight as West Torrens, with a bit of momentum, will come into this bottom of the 5th inning, the final inning of the game.
And I know it was early, but they were down in this game too.
Hoyle, Nucky, Allen, your first 3 batters,
You're 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, you'd suggest that one of those will be good enough to get aboard, let alone 2 and move the other runner around. But Millie Fidge has pitched a beauty so far. She hasn't conceded too many runs considering how many hits and base runners that they've had.
What if they get a couple on here? Do you think about a change? Bring Zali in?
Not sure Zali's warmed up, Lee.
No.
I haven't seen the bullpen action for the Falcons.
Me neither, James, but I'm just...
Their B grade's
thinking.
playing next game as well, so maybe she's over there to play B grade today. Sophie Hoyle can afford to watch a couple, I'd say.
And that she does. The tying runner in the final inning. At the plate. It's the last chance saloon for the Eagles. That one just flies away.
3-0. Hoyle in this position will know not to swing at the next 3.
That's what they want, don't they? A base runner. 1 person on base.
Absolutely.
Actually, Millie's hadn't got close so far against Hoyle. Couple to the back net.
Calls strike. She was thinking about walking to first base already. in a very friendly hitter's count. And she's right back in it.
Big comeback, isn't it? Big comeback from the young pitcher.
She's been doing that all season.
Yep.
Showing her grit, Fidge. That one was high. That
playing
Hoyle,
so-
Just protecting.
yeah, Hoyle
Yeah.
protecting.
Was plain sailing for Sophie, wasn't it, early? 3-0. You need to be choosy, but now you can't. Got to protect the zone here.
Right up the middle, but going down and make the catch is Neve Adams. She's had a couple nice plays today, and that was one of them.
Interesting pitch selection on a full count. The change up, and Hoyle got a lot of it, only to find the fielder.
Too much of it, wasn't it, in the end?
With the leading team's replay. A couple highlight reel catches from Neve Adams.
I reckon that would have settled the defense and Fidge, importantly Fidge, to get that one out. Now it's only 2 they need.
It's one less thing they have to worry about. Nucky has a single today. Grounded out today. Does she have a game-tying run left to add to her resume in this afternoon's contest? Hit hard up the middle.
Right shot.
That'll do it. Kelsey Nucky is aboard. That's the tie and run.
Second hit of the game, both of them up the middle for Nucky. Time call from Coach Scott, going to the dugout for a runner. Carly Allen's got a job to do here. With one out, she needs to get on safely herself, but also to move this runner.
It's Alicia Mead coming in the run.
Limited game time so far for this season, mostly playing as a B grader, Alicia Mead.
Played some very good games for Glenelg, where they both came from, third base. A couple of seasons ago now, James.
Yeah, I remember Kathy Lambert 2 seasons ago saying, watch this girl, Alicia Mead. And then that year, I reckon she hit high 200s, maybe even 300. Just unassuming over at third base, and it was the start of a great young career.
Which is unusual for third base players. They're not usually quiet and unassuming.
Swings hard at this one. Another diving effort from Adams. That one is going to squeak on through. That would have been really special if she could have gloved that one, but another hit up the middle, and we've got 2 runners aboard the winning run over at first base.
She found a way, but nearly robbed from Neve Adams. I love that she puts the body on the line to get to those plays. We've already seen one diving play to the backhand. This one was to the forehand, and it just bobbled a little. So we'll give that one a hit to Carly Allen.
Look where the left fielder's filmed for Jackie Beale.
Jackie Beale
Miles
has an
away.
RBI, and she came in to pitch those 3 last outs in the top of the 5th inning.
She needs to
She
just,
could potentially win the game.
she just needs to put the ball on the deck here, though. Left field needs to be in and by the line.
Lays
That's what
down a
she did.
bunt.
Yep.
Hustling to first.
That's what she
She's
had
just
to do.
out, but she's got 2 runners in scoring position, and the Eagles will take their chances with 1 more out up their sleeve. And now with 2 outs, they can do the run for the catcher.
Well, that's what she had to do, as I said. Put the ball on the deck. Give Jordan a chance to hit in this game.
Jordan Harris with the go-ahead run.
You know what? The Falcons coaches will pass up this batter to put the force on because she doesn't count. It's either the tying run at third, the winning run at second. she puts her on. All she's doing is increasing her team's chances of making it out here, which is all they need. They've got the 2, then they can play first, second, third, or home. And
that's true, but the next batter is Lana. She's been 3 times on. And that's where the problem comes on.
Well, you pick your poison, Harris or Kayser. And I'd go Kayser with loaded bases over Lambert with no force.
Yeah,
It's true. The runner does not matter. You are just picking your poison. It's a great point.
yeah.
But they'll decide to leave the game on the line to Jordan Harris. She swings at the first pitch and finds a gap. That scores 1 run. The winning run. Rounding third touches the plate. And the Eagles are going to win this one.
That's the ball game. A walk-off for Harris. First pitch, drives the opposite field behind the runners. And 2 runs score to win the game.
We haven't had a heap of walk-offs this year, but that was one of them right here on Softball SA, NITV, and Spacequake Sports. You said you'd rather pick your poison, maybe walk Harris and try your luck with Kaysler. Neither easy feats, but it took 1 pitch for Jordan Harris to go opposite field and get a clutch 2 RBI double to win it for West Torrens.
Leading team's replay, she sat on it. And the ball just sat there for her to hit as well as she drove it opposite field. That's the tying run there. And Jackie Beale, who came in as a courtesy runner for Carly Allen, crosses the plate, didn't even need to slide. The ball was in that gap.
Well, it is now official. The hottest team in the competition are these West Torrens Eagles. They've won 5 of their last 6 now. They've moved up the ladder to 10 points after starting the season winless. They're in 4th place right now. Walkerville has to play later on, but they still have to wait and see how some other teams play. But they are now on that doorstep, but they're only 6 points back of the top.
Can you believe it? They're 3 games from top after dropping their first, 4 or 5 games. And it's such a close season now, isn't it? And full credit to Taylor Mead, because the whole game I was saying, when's Straczynski coming? When's Straczynski coming? She just battled and battled and held her medal, and then Jackie Beale came in and to close out the game and then contributed with the bat with that sacrifice bunt in that last inning. Great all-round team performance from the Eagles.
And Taylor Mead, remember too, the earned runs, she had 4 of them that were unearned. So really impressive against a high-powered team, Lee.
I think that's as good as she's pitched, except for that game you mentioned earlier on, James. She was just terrific, and she just, the thing I like about her, her body language doesn't change. You know, some pitchers get out there, they get belted everywhere. Their body language is terrible, and rightly so. But no, not with Taylor.
But Taylor, when she had that shutout game, it was 12-0. This was a close game. It was a come-from-behind victory. They were down, don't forget, 5-2. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, your picks for the player of the game.
Normally you go the winning team. Sarah Tonkin, though, in a losing side, had 3 RBIs, sacrifice fly, 2 RBI double, base on balls, and she was pretty good behind the plate as well, settling down the young pitcher Millie Fidge.
Can't disagree with that. I think that's a good call.
Maddie Cameron was pretty sharp with the bat, couple of hits and an intentional base on balls, and Caruana at the top of the order as well, just contributed every time she came up to bat. But on the flip side, Lana Kaysler would have to be one of the bravest players in the competition. She got a walk, injured herself, scored a run. The very next play, she dove in and put that body on the line again. 2 walks and a single.
And that's all that was in it. 1 run.
Jackie Beale's performance was terrific. Maybe not with the bat, but with the glove in the outfielder, and then that sacrifice bunt and the winning run. I know I've mentioned 100 players. Straczynski
what about
got a
Kelsey Nucky, who was surefire at first, had 2 hits, and led off that last inning with the hit to get things going?
With 1 out, West Torrens were down to their last 2 outs. Crucial hit. Is it biased to go with Jordan Harris, though, with the walk-off 2 RBI shot to win the game?
I think you almost have to if that was the deciding play of the game, but I think the moral of this story is on both sides, Great team softball. An intriguing game in some weird conditions. 7-6 your final. West Torrens win.